Cover yourself in garden life. And we got four amazing guests. We got a garden in Phoenix, Arizona with Lee Stewart. And we have another garden in Brooklyn, New York, Lola Richardson. A Brooklyn garden. You believe that? In New York. And you'd be surprised how many gardens are in the boroughs of New York City. We got two other great guests, one from Connecticut, Miss Thayer Barkley, and she's got some very interesting masks and products that you got to check that out. She deals in hemp. While our other guest, Ms. Rita Renee Hunter Graham, she does some masks down in Georgia, and you gotta wait to see what she has. So it's a great show, a lot of dynamic women, and I get to enjoy all of them.
All right, all right, all
Welcome,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, to Speak to Life. My name is Dr. Drake.
And I'm Analyn Scott. We're with Speak to
Yes,
Life. We
I'm
are,
in I'm in Maryland, Garden, Brooklyn, New York. How
and
you
I,
doing, Analyn?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. I'm trying to stay in the shade right now just so I don't burn up. But I'm here in Lee's garden at Veg Up Get Dirty.
Great, great, great. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It is gorgeous out here on the urban farm and the garden area.
Great. Well, we're in Brooklyn, and guess what? It's New York, and of course, our weather is inclement, which is raining. So we're in the greenhouse with Lola. Hey, Lola.
Hey Dre, hey Dre. Dre's in the greenhouse,
How you
helping the
doing?
good people, trying to hide from the rain out here in Brooklyn. We're doing good.
I tried
Good
to
to
send
see
some
y'all. Good to see
sunshine.
y'all.
I tried to send some sunshine
Well,
your way. I guess
today's
it didn't
show.
get there in time.
Yes, send lots and lots of
Mhm.
sunshine this way, Analyn, please.
Well, today's show is called Cover Yourself in Garden Life. And we're going to do our best to do that because some of these masks that we're wearing, as you can see, this one I'm wearing is by Rita Renee. And she makes masks and she does a great apparel. We're going to talk to her in a few. Like I said, we got Lee Stewart out in Phoenix, Arizona with Analyn. And tell me, so I know it's nice and sunny out there, so we're real jealous because now we have pouring rain, but we're going to still make the best of this. Out here at Lola's in Brooklyn, and we got a great group of people around us. So let's start this off real simple. I got to send a great big happy birthday shout out to my son who's here with me, Aramis Brown. Aramis. Aramis here. Everybody say hi to Aramis.
Hi, Almas.
Hi, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
So
birthday
give him the
to
birthday song on the count
you.
of three.
Okay,
One. Can you
should I
wait
do
for
that
the
one?
count? One, two, three.
Lola, you're on mute.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday.
you.
You.
Okay, this was
Now you know my singing abilities, Dre. I'm going to be lip syncing it over
tough
here,
birthday.
but it's
Tough birthday crowd.
happy
I
You
birthday.
can't.
know,
I can't
big
hear
shout out to him
Dre.
because he did this
So,
thing on his
tell me.
YouTube
Somebody
channel
tell me when
called.
you guys want me to say, "Hey, what's up?"
Excuse me.
Or just do it now.
Well,
Thank you. And he did this thing on his YouTube channel before I did this off my phone, and it's called "Who's My Dad?" About me. So if you get a chance, folks, please check that out after you go to Speak to Life now on YouTube. But Annalyn, I'm gonna toss it to you, and please let us know what's going on in the garden with me.
So we're over here, and you know what? It is just such a beautiful spread that she has in her backyard, this urban garden. So we've been tasting some of the tomatoes. I'm gonna have to ship you some, Dre, because I know how much you love your tomatoes. And guess what? I know we were
Yeah.
kind of joking around about it covering up in the garden, but they do have a fig tree with some pretty big
Yes, it
fig
is.
leaves. But I'm not using those to cover up. We're keeping our social distance and exploring this garden here. So, Lee, do you want to share a little bit?
Yes, we have an urban farm here out in Phoenix, Arizona. This is Lee Stewart with Veg Up Get Dirty. And you can see a little bit in the background of the garden. We have raised beds, we have in ground beds, we have 22 fruit trees, avocados, mangoes, kumquats, citrus trees, deciduous trees, banana trees. all kinds of fun stuff out here. And this is what we do. We teach people. I custom design, I custom build, I service, and I garden coach for people who want to have their own fresh, 100% uh, organic food right at their right at their fingertips. So it's quite amazing out here. We've got tomatoes and all kinds of summer stuff like corn and watermelon, cantaloupe, you name it, we've got it out here.
And Lee, you mentioned that you've got the obviously organic fruits and vegetables here in your garden. What's the difference with the ones grown here versus the ones you're going to get from the store?
Well, that's a great question, Analyn. You know, when you grow your own food, you get 100% nutrients right when you pick it. And now, typically, when you go to the grocery store, you are getting food that has been shipped from other countries, Chile, Argentina, Africa, all over the world. And sometimes they pick it fresh or they pick it when it's not ripe. And by the time it hits your grocery cart in the grocery store, you're maybe getting 18% nutrients out of that food. It's not really fresh. And typically, when it's traveling across the United States to different countries, bumping itself through the state to state, you're typically, getting fruits and vegetables that are just not the highest quality that you could really be getting. Eating right from your garden is amazing in so many ways. We are the sickest people, the most hungry people, and the most tired people in the nations because we're not getting nutrients in our food. And so, growing your own food helps you. That it heals your body. It helps you thrive instead of just simply survive.
Absolutely. And as we were going through the garden, it was amazing, even with some of the herbs that you have there. You were mentioning some of the medicinal qualities with some of the plants and herbs that you have right here at your own, in your own backyard.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? What do you use the most on a day-to-day basis for your household?
Well, herbs is used day to day. I grow my herbs all year round, and every morning I steep my own tea. So I clip rosemary and thyme. Rosemary and thyme, actually, if you just clip it and put it in some boiling hot water and steep it in a tea for 5 minutes, you actually are helping anxiety and depression and a whole host of other things in your system.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, Dre, share with us what's
Yes.
happening over there in Brooklyn with you and Lola in the
Well,
garden.
well, let's go to Lola and find out what's in the garden. Hey, Lola.
Hey, Dre, how are you?
So you got me in the greenhouse. What's going on outside? You in the gazebo with the rain? Tell us
It
about
is.
the garden a little bit.
It's not supposed to rain. It is definitely raining, and but it's not. It's tolerable. It's not a downpour or anything. Um, I don't know. There's a lot going on in the garden. A lot of projects this year. Trying to get some more color out here. You know.
Well, at least you got the rain to get you started. That's a good thing.
Yes, all the showers bring all the flowers. So definitely happy about that.
Exactly. What are some of the prime things that you actually grow in this garden in Brooklyn? And guess, ladies and gentlemen, we are in Brooklyn, New York. For all those who are saying, "Is he really in Brooklyn?" And I'm
Yeah.
still wearing a mask. That's right. And everyone's saying, "Dre, why are you wearing that mask?" Because the president, governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, has not lifted the mask rule yet. So I'm trying to stay perfectly safe with social distancing rules, as we are supposed to do that in the United States of America. So thank you very much.
Well, he is in the greenhouse with his mask, and I am outside. Luckily for me, I have enough room to still social distance, which is why I do not have on a mask. I have over 15,000 square feet out here, and we have everything from melons and potatoes, tomatoes, onions, scallions, okra, callaloo, corn, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, apples, grapes. We try to keep everything as organic as possible, which means no pesticides and unnatural methods of growing. Everything is all natural and organic. So We definitely we do workshops on sustainable gardening, urban gardening, container gardening, and I definitely like working with the little kids and bringing them into the garden and showing them where they're supposed to
Well, that sounds great. We got more to talk to you about, but right now we want to thank Lee Stewart and Lola in their respective gardens from Phoenix to Brooklyn, and it's time for us to bring on our next guest all the way from Georgia by way of Harlem, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, that would be the Heath Q.
be. Thank you for speaking to life with us out here in
Thank
Brooklyn.
you, Speak to Life, because I love speaking to life all the time and sharing ideas, presenting options, creating solutions for me, you, your family, and the community. And that's why we're successful, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, Greg.
Thank you very much for being involved. Tell us a little bit about your apparel company and how'd you come up with this mask right now that just saying I sound muffled, but it is your mask. How about that? I hear you
You
fine.
can
Don't
hear
worry
me
about that. You
clearly?
just keep talking.
Okay, so then we always, no matter where you're from, if you're from New York, you always have to rep your neighborhood, right? I mean, Lola just left. I went to high school in Brooklyn, went to Brooklyn Tech. Again, I'm Rita Renee, and I stay or reside presently in Stockbridge in Georgia. But prior to this, I was in Cali. Prior to that, I was in Japan. Prior to that, I was in
Well, that's great.
Harlem. And now I'm here. The thing is, with every little step, I got to rep my hood. And so that's why I gave you that one, because it represents the city. If you look at it, if you go, Dre, you're going to have to roll up closer to the screen, I guess, so people can
Well,
see the Statue of Liberty. They
am I
see
doing
the
a good
Mets.
pan job? You can see it?
Yeah, you can see. Just look, right. Go to the other way. Stop right there. Right, yeah, ow, that's what it is.
Keep,
Right there. You can see the different things that go on in this city. Unfortunately, right now we're in a lockdown, but as far as the activities that we would normally do in the city, but if you notice, anybody looking at his mask right now, you will see that there's the grid, like the subway station. I made the grid on the ground, and that's what I wanted to display. That we rep our hood all day long. Dre, what's up with the beard? I mean, I'm
well,
just noticing it.
that's
Like, come
because
on, to
we're
you
on
give it.
stay at home, but I'm unfortunately no. Fortunately, I'm breaking the rule because I'm wonderfully here in Brooklyn with some great folks, and I got to give a big shout out to Heidi who came out here. Anthony's out here helping Lola, and who else is out here? Who else out here? Oh, it's Aramis. It's his birthday. Hey, Aramis.
Oh, happy birthday. You did a great job on the video.
You did a great
Ow.
job. You did a great job. I think one more person is here. Who else is in here? Oh, God. Oh, God is in here. Wow. I know I'm leaving somebody out, but we'll check on that a little later. But
Oh,
Rita, let me
that's
ask
what's
you a
up.
question because down where you are now, as we all are dealing with the COVID-19 situation in our lives, how is it affecting life in Georgia as the governor opened up the state?
People are not taking chances, but then there's some people who are very cavalier, to be honest with you. So it depends on where you are and in what communities you're in. So sometimes you'll go to certain grocery stores and you'll see people actually masked up with either their custom mask, or they'll have a mask that somebody made for them. But as far as the opening up, a lot of people thought it was too soon. People are nervous. So instead of just accepting it, I think what people are still doing is ordering groceries online and having it delivered to their homes. Many of my peers, as well as my neighbors and some of our clients, have started gardens. And I just noticed that on Facebook that many of them are starting their own gardens. And we did too. We I guess re-energized our garden in our backyard because we have plenty of space. And what's happening is people either wear their masks, get out, come back home immediately, or some people actually are having parties and barbecues and acting like nothing's ever happened. And I don't get it, especially the younger generation and some of the I guess the middle-aged folks who feel like I don't care, I'm gonna die anyway kind of attitude, which is ridiculous. But for us in my house, everybody masked up. We ain't playing. All right.
Yeah, we
No.
seen you by the sewing machines. But I'm gonna throw it over to Analyn in Phoenix with Lee Stewart in the garden. Analyn, you got a question?
Yeah, so I know you. You are really a world traveler, Reed Renee, and so you're incorporating and kind of mixing cultures with what you're doing with a lot of your designs. So telling my son about your travels to Japan and the book that you've written. So can you tell us a little bit more about kind of what's inspired you through your travels?
Well, it was the idea of the common threads of humanity, if nothing else, that we all go through our struggles, our trials and tribulations, and supporting those who mean the most to us. And when I went overseas, specifically in Asia, I recognized how much they love and admire their elders and how the elders have so much to give, and how we're not, as a country, which I learned, not respecting the wisdom of our elders, and how we're allowing our elders to go and travel to the next level, whatever you believe in, without giving us those tools that help them get through. And that would include crafts and different skill sets. Some of the skill sets even lost over generations because the younger generation either didn't care to know or the elders didn't step out and teach. So for me, it's really important that I teach my kids what we're doing here at our company, but also to teach some of the younger generation the value that they can bring with their new ideas, blend it with some novel or older ideas and concepts, just like doing the garden. My son took over our garden. I initially showed him when he was around 8 or 10. Now he's 21. I go in the backyard. He asks me, what do I need? Like, excuse me, I think I paid for this ground. But, it's part of that. He wants to have that ownership and that understanding of bridging from present to the past and making us one. And that's so important. But nowadays, it's really tough because everybody's caught up in their social media and all of that, and they can't get their phones out their faces. But luckily, we have this to share with each other. Because here, I'm looking at Lee Scott and I'm like, oh, I want some of that. Can you mail it to me? Can I get some seeds? That kind of concept. And then when I saw what was going on at the garden in Brooklyn, when I heard the word okra, I kind of shot up because I love okra. But in any
Uh
case,
oh. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Rita. You're going and you're going well. But we're gonna put you on so people want to hear more about this in the afterlife after we do the show. And I mean, I got to get to this real important question with you. You have a special garment that you have ready that you designed for the situation that happened down in Georgia. And as you can hear, I'm definitely in Brooklyn because those were the sirens of and the I guess the police cars driving by. How'd that work out? So Rita, you want to tell us about that trip to Hogan?
yes. So this was a project that started out as a social media activism. One of our clients, who is a celebrity stylist, his name is Fashion Mister. He is from Brunswick, Georgia, where Ahmaud Arbery was killed. And he was very moved by what happened to the point that he designed something and then he just posted it. No big deal. Well, that post went viral. And from that viral post, people were saying, do you have shirts? Do you have something? Because I want to show that I support the family. So Jeremiah contacted the family and they gave him authorization to create a website and to produce shirts. And he didn't know how to do it. So he came to us for advice and we guided him. And it took off. So far we've made about 400 to 500 shirts, and it's still going. And we've donated. Our company has donated window clings that look exactly like the emblem. So if anybody's interested, if you go to I run with mod dot square dot com, you'll be dot site, excuse me, you will be able to purchase a shirt or a window cling to put in your car or in
Now,
your
now,
business window.
Rita,
Yes.
thank you. I want you to hold that because we're gonna come back with you and everybody else so you can actually talk a lot more about that. But we have to move on. We got to thank
Okay.
you for
Thank
being here.
you.
Stay with us. We got a lot of show left, a lot of good show, and right about now, Analyn.
Yeah, so we are here still in Lee's garden. I want to show everybody before we switch gears here a special treat that she has set out for us. This orange juice that they created from their fresh oranges, and wish I could send some to you over there now, Dré. But we are just really enjoying this whole conversation. So I think we're
Yes,
going to switch
indeed.
gears. Where are we going next, Dré?
We're definitely going to go to Mr. Heath Snow, and he's got a great package for us right now, so we can introduce our next guest.
I am Thayer Barkley from Bridgeport, Connecticut of Try Nature 2. You are watching Speak to Life.
All right, Thayer. So wonderful to have you here. And Thayer, can you hear us?
Hello, Thayer.
I don't hear anybody. I only hear
Thay-
you, Dr. Dre. I
Thayer
haven't heard
Barkley.
anyone. I'm here.
Hey, how are you today? Welcome to Speak to Life.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
you're reaching us from where?
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Ah, very exciting. Now, guess what? I mean, we're just very delighted to have you. And I can't even explain what I'm getting ready to put your mask on. So maybe
Oh,
you can
okay.
guide me through the process and tell me what I should do. I got it. Let me see. Do I have it right side up?
I don't see you. Where you are. Okay.
Can you
Hold
see
on.
me now?
I can see you now. Yes.
Okay, so I'm about to put this on. Hang on. Tell us about your company and how you decided to work with hemp and make
Okay.
these great hemp masks.
Okay. I started Try Nature 2. I'm partial Blackfoot and Cherokee Native American. And my sons and I started a company called Try Nature 2 because of my background in holistic alternative healing. So that was in 2015. And we basically deal with natural healing modalities. I'm a Reiki master, a double Reiki master, which is Karuna and Usui. So I do all sorts of hands-on healing. I've studied aromatherapy, kinesiology, flower essences, homeopathic medicine, everything natural, everything that I was taught growing up. And then I, of course, expounded on that. In 2015, through a vision, I got the name Try Nature 2, which I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But then I started building a business on holistic medicine. Fast forward 2018, I commute into Manhattan. I live in Bridgeport, but I work for a company in Manhattan. And it's kind of a tiring commute. So I was like, okay, Lord, could you do me a favor? Could you give me an idea where I can not have to commute as much? So,
Uh-oh.
I was just kind of said that
I guess
prayer.
you were ahead of the mask game already. Go ahead.
Right. So 2018, the Lord started showing me to look around, look around. Somebody, I hear a lot of static, but somebody, so what happened was, I started looking around on the train and I started noticing people coughing and sneezing, and you're kind of like crammed in like sardines. And I started looking at the air filtration system, if there even is one. And I'm like, oh my God, and then I was noticing people falling asleep, even myself, because you're tired in the commute. And the first thing happens, your mouth is like, ah, right? And I'm like, oh my
So that
God,
was
we look really ugly when we're sleeping, right? So,
uh-oh.
so as time went on, the Lord said to me, make a mask. So this is 2018. So I started saying, okay, Lord, you want me to make a mask? The problem is I don't know how to sew. I don't even know how to sew on a button. But
Oh,
he gave me the vision.
can't sew buttons. That's pretty significant there. But you're making
Yeah.
a great hemp mask. Tell us more about the hemp mask.
Okay, so the hemp mask. So fast forward, I decided to make the mask, and because of my line of work in the CBD products, like I said, I have CBD products as well. I know the history of the hemp, and the hemp is natural antimicrobial, antiviral, and naturally kills microorganisms. It's very breathable. It's very it's washable. It's durable. The hemp in itself, if you put a hemp plant in the ground and the ground is soiled, and this is a really good notation for the gardeners, it actually cleans the soil. So hemp in itself removes toxins.
Oh,
So
really?
that was
I didn't
one of
know
the,
that.
yeah, yeah. So that's why I'm here. So so what
I see
happened was,
because this mask fits me very snugly, or I got a big head. One of the two. I'm
well,
gonna
we
go with
make,
I got a big head.
yeah, well, what we do, I designed the mask, and then it has some pleats so it can pull down, and it has a little pocket for essential oils, which is another added protection that you use. And I use everything natural. It's going to be the natural hemp. It's going to be the natural 100% essential oils, and you just can wash it, and it'll last you quite some time. I make them for the children. I make them for adults. And if somebody has a special size, I'll make them. Well, my seamstress will make them. And it's just been, we have several colors. We have like this. I don't know. Let's see. Where's my camera at? Wait a minute. How do I do this? Hold on. I guess it's here. This is a purple, which all my purple prints people love it. And I have black, and I have I think that's the espresso, and I have a new line coming out, which is eucalyptus and hemp. I haven't launched that yet, and that gives you another added protection with respiratory. Each mask comes with an organic bag, looks like this,
There's an
and
organic bag in it.
yeah, it
So I
comes with
should
a
go. I
bag.
should ask Aramis. Does he have the organic bag that came with the mask?
Yeah, you should,
Because he
because
actually
each
debuted the
one comes
mask for
with it.
me and handed it to me. So as the organic bag, he has the
Okay.
organic bag. Am I wearing the mask properly there,
Well, you
Thayer?
kind of have your you have to, that's the pipe cleaner that helps secure the nose, that's removable. So when you wash your mask, you can take that in, you can remove it and put it back in. So that just slides in there. And a lot of times what I'll do is when I'm washing the mask, I'll put essential oils in the water as I'm squeezing it out, and then just let it hang dry. You can put it in the machine, but it'll last better if you hand wash it, and you do it overnight, and it'll dry
Can
quicker.
you see the bag? Can
Uh,
you see the bag?
no, I'm showing my
I
bag.
put the bag on my forehead.
Oh, I see the
No?
bag.
You see the
And
bag? Okay.
that's also
So, ladies and
organic.
gentlemen, the bag is in my forehead and the mask is on my face. I'm totally covered.
And that's also organic cotton, washable. Again, everything for me, because I'm Tri Nature too, I like to do everything natural and organic. So
So,
that's
what
what's.
other products do you have in your company besides this wonderful mask and the bag? Because I know you got some dynamite stuff that involves hemp.
Yes, I do. So I have some wonderful gummies, which these are CBD. They're hemp, so they don't. There's no THC in here, so you're not going to get high. Some people might like that, but they you can take these for anxiety, for stress, and a lot of people take them at night to go to sleep. And it's just a mild candy, very flavorful. So some people, I have to tell them don't eat the whole bag because you might think you're eating gummies, but they're
Oh,
going to have a
I know
relaxing.
somebody we need to tell that works with us. She may have
Is
ate the
that?
whole bag. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I'm sure she was really relaxed. I also
Absolutely.
have.
I have
I
something
also.
like that that's called bigger sticks, but we'll talk about that at another time.
Oh yeah, that's right. I also have.
Yes, I gave you a few samples, and I guess you were pretty happy too.
I was. Thank you. My sons kept confiscating them, just so you know. So I'm going to need some more.
Understood. We're
Okay.
gonna work out a trade.
Okay.
Analyn, do you have a question? Well, Analyn, do we have a question from you?
Dre, I don't think Thayer can hear me. So
I can hear
I
you
think she's,
faintly.
yeah, I don't think so. But just um, yeah, so I just want to, not so much a question, but you can hear me now, Thayer. Okay. So not so much a question, but I'm going to put in an order for one of those hemp eucalyptus masks in purple, because as you can see, that is my color. And yeah, so I've just enjoyed hearing this. Is there, um, now you're there in Connecticut, so you're shipping
I can't
really,
really hear you.
obviously you can ship anywhere in the country. And what's,
Well, let me help her out, Analyn, because she can't hear you.
can you get it?
She's putting an
Yeah, go
order
for
in
it.
for a purple mask,
Right.
and she says you're in Connecticut. Your mask
Yes.
and the bag of dynamite Go ahead, Analyn. I'll just translate for you. This is what we do. This is Speak to Life, ladies and gentlemen. We share
Yes.
ideas. We actually present options, and we actually create solutions for you, your family, community. Speak to Life. And we get
Speak to
through the
life.
show because that's how we get down. So anyway, Analyn, what else did you want me to say to there for you?
Oh, I was gonna say, just let her know she's gonna be shipping me a package when I place my order for Phoenix with purple mask. With the, I want to try her new eucalyptus hemp mask that she's creating.
Okay, well, you got that there. She's got a package she needs shipped to her in Phoenix because we're
Okay.
global with this show. Speak
Of
to Life is a
course.
global situation. And speaking of being global, there, since you said hemp can help the soil, let me bring Lola in for a second and ask Lola, has she ever thought about putting some hemp in the soil here in Brooklyn? Okay, we'll find Lola, but back to Thea for a second. So Thea,
Yes.
you inspired by your train ride back and forth to New York from Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
You have some other great products. Exactly. Break it down to us, because I know about this salve you got going on, and
Oh
I definitely am
yes.
putting up an order for about a crate. So while people are washing their hands like they should and using hand sanitizers, tell them about the salve and tell them about the muscle relaxer. And
Yes.
man, you got some great stuff going on.
Oh yes. So the salve is very good for any type of skin irritation. So if you're repeatedly washing your hands, it'll help heal that. If you're having any form of psoriasis or eczema, any type of skin, it smells wonderful. It has a lot of wonderful herbs inside it contains, and it's just a really light salve. So it makes your hands feel wonderful. I also have a
And it
muscle
also
gel.
smells pretty good.
Yeah, it does. I also have a
Because my
muscle
son,
gel.
my son, you need to send him a jar for his birthday because he definitely sampled some of it and he was very happy.
Okay, thank you. I also have a muscle gel. So if you're working out or if you have any type of strain while you're working in the garden and or working out, because everyone needs to be doing that. It helps pretty instant. It really is quick relief. I also have CBD tinctures. I have it in a strawberry flavor, a natural flavor, but it has like a hint of coconut to it. And the other one is peppermint. So those are the three line of the tinctures. And the tinctures you put underneath your tongue, or you can actually put it in your drinks if you like, and just ingest it. And because we have CBD receptors in our body, it really helps to balance the body. So again, it doesn't have any THC in it, so you don't have to worry about trying to pass a drug test or sorts like that. And I also have treats for dogs and cats.
Well, let me ask you a question because you say you could put some of the drops under your tongue. Can you
Yes.
actually put it in sea moss? Because I got a great lady who makes some sea moss up for me out where I live in Newcastle. Her name is Linnea, and she makes a dynamite purple sea moss, Irish sea moss for me. Can she put those drops in the sea moss and I can actually enjoy the strawberry sea moss taste?
Yes, you may. Definitely. You definitely may do that.
Well, we got to get that connection working. Because I'm telling you, I'm
Okay.
sold on the salve already. The mask has me very excited. And tell everybody how they can reach out and see some of these great products in your website.
Oh, our website is www.trynature2too.com. You'll find all our information there. We also have, if I may, um, sage smudge kits, and we get our sage organically grown from the Lakota tribe, and it helps the tribe as well. And it's a phenomenal sage. People rave about it, so I just wanted to share that with you too. And I have a whole kit that comes with a shell and the sage and a stand and a actual turkey feather that my cousin, this is it here. He's a hunter, so they're real. So try nature too. You'll see on the website a lot of the natural things that I have on there. So that's how you can reach me.
Well, we're going to see if we can get Lola back on the line. Because, like I said, I want to see if she can make a space in the garden to actually help heal the soil. Is Lola there?
I'm here. I'm
Okay, hey,
trying to
Lola.
stay dry out here. That's all.
I know you're in the gazebo wet out there with Heidi. And who else is out there with you?
Well, we got we got our producers out here, and well, a couple of producers out here, and we got Heidi Z is in the garden today with us, and we're all hiding
Well, the
out.
producers have names, so they don't just their mother didn't expel them and say your name is producer. I know Anthony's out there with you. Who else is out there?
Yeah, we have Anthony Shelton out here. We have Infinite out here with us in the
Thank
greenhouse,
you, thank you.
uh,
Now, Thea was saying something really important.
socially
She
distancing.
said the hemp cleans the soil when you plant it. There, tell them more
Yes.
about that real quick.
Yeah, it's been a known fact that when you plant hemp in toxic soil, that it actually cleans the soil of the toxins.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Lola?
Hiding under the gazebo.
Okay, well, basically, the hemp cleans the soil. So if you're in Brooklyn and you want to clean your soil, now I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying, Thayer Barkley said you can clean your soil with hemp. So y'all work it out from that position after that. But do you have any good shout outs like for your sons, like by name so everybody knows who they are?
Oh yeah. So I'm in business with three of my sons. Well, I only have three, but my oldest son, Michael Barkley, my middle son, Marcus Barkley, and my youngest son, Matthew Barkley. So we all are in this business together, and it's just a wonderful thing. And we all have our different
Well,
areas of expertise.
Well, we want you to hang on there because we're going to still keep talking to you because we have a segment called The Afterlife after we do the show. And we have
Hmm.
two other guests, Miss Deidre and Miss Antoine from their garden in guess where? North Carolina. They're going to be coming up in the afterlife. So nobody, don't even think about going anywhere. But we want to thank the wonderful Thayer Barkley and let her
You're
explain all
welcome.
about how her hemp products and this hemp mask is keeping me safe, is keeping me socially distanced, and I'm ready to put something in the little sleep so I can sit here and actually smell that too. So thank you, but
Hmm.
hang in there. We got so much more. We got Analyn and we got Lee out in Phoenix. Analyn.
Yes, Dre. So, you know,
Hi, Lee Stewart with Veg Up
we
Get
are,
Dirty. You're watching Speak to Life.
let us take you on a little bit of a tour so people can see a little bit more of what she has out here. And now I've got my 15-year-old son that's joined me. He's going to be a little shy, put him on camera. But he's even enjoying, he's been taste testing some of the herbs that they have. Now, this right here I learned is um, actually there's a bee out here trying to pollinate. But Lee, if you can describe this a little bit better for us, what you're actually doing with the seed here from the garlic that you're growing in your own garden.
Yeah, so Annalyn, if you're growing food and you actually take let your vegetables or your vegetables bolt, they will seed, and once they seed, you can harvest the seeds and use them for the following year, year after year, and you're creating a DNA within that plant that you've planted, and next year, when you plant that seed, you'll get a bigger harvest, a more bountiful harvest, because you've created the microclimate, the DNA for that particular seed, and it will do better in your soil. It'll do better in your climate. We all live in like microclimates all over the parts of Phoenix and Arizona. So it's always good to allow some of your harvest to go to seed and then harvest that seed, so that your next year's harvest is going to be even greater, bigger, more bountiful.
Can I
Well,
ask
let
a
me ask you a
question?
question because that would be Rita.
I'm 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 sorry, Dre. I just have a question for Lee.
Please.
So, should
Yes.
I be when my son does that? Shouldn't he separate the growth from the produce that we're going to eat? Because sometimes he lets it go too far, where it no longer tastes well. It tastes kind of bitter because he's waiting for the seed. And
Yeah.
I'm telling him, separate your growth little section for seeds from the ones that we're going to eat.
Sure, that's a great question. So sometimes we don't harvest that particular plant, and I let it bolt or go to seed, and then I just utilize that for my seed for next year. And so I just don't eat that particular plant or that particular harvest. So you can do that if you want. You could actually seed just in a section that allows you to harvest from the seed itself, and just know that you're not really going to be, eating that particular vegetable or plant. So you can definitely do it that way. Or you can just let some of them bolt or go to seed right where they're at, and just know that they're not gonna be as flavorful for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
Yes,
well,
my
thank
pleasure.
you so much, Lee. We're going to go to a quick break to get Mr. Heat Snow. He's got a nice package for us, and we're going to get Lee, Lola back in the gardens because we're here on Speak to Life. We're doing one thing that most people are doing around this country. We are covering yourself, and we're in garden life. So, Heat Snow, you got it.
Hi, I'm Lola Richardson from Brooklyn, New York, and this is Speak to Life. Speak to Life is sharing ideas, presenting options, and creating solutions for you, your family, and your community. Speak to Life.
All right. Thank you, Heath. Heath,
Thank
if
you,
you,
Heat. Thank you so much. Now, Analyn,
yes, Dre.
we're getting such great information from Lee. Rita got a great question in there. They have found some information about growing hemp and fixing the soil. Let's go to Lola in Brooklyn. Even though we're under the deluge of rain, wind, and sleet, and they're in the gazebo and I'm in the greenhouse. Lola,
Yep, I'm here.
Lola, are you with us here?
I am here. I am. Excuse me. I am
No, we're in
actually.
Brooklyn together. It was so close yet so far apart. Thank you, President
I,
Governor Andrew Cuomo of the state of New York.
Yo,
Lola,
we're lucky
tell
enough
us
to
some of
be
the
able to social distance out
things
here.
that you
So,
do that are unique to this garden in Brooklyn, New York, that everybody needs to know about? What's some of the unique things that you do to help cultivate and actually make the garden not only wonderful and pretty with the wonderful colors, but some of the foods you actually grow?
well, we grow a lot of food. Right, honestly. Right now we're looking at eggplant and broccoli and cauliflower, tomatoes, corn. Pretty much, I got callaloo and okra. We try to keep it as again organic as possible, and we definitely have the space for it. So it's a matter of making sure you get the right sun for the right amount of hours because we're in between two buildings. So it's a little strategic planning necessary, but we're able to get a great amount of things done. We get to start out the plant in the greenhouse, and then once they are ready of decent size, then we transplant them outside into the ground. The part of the purpose for starting them in the greenhouse is because it eliminates birds eating all our seed crops and small animals digging up the bugs and the flowers. So, I mean, we do offer classes. We have exercise classes. We have movie nights. We try to use the space as productively as possible.
Well, that's great. I mean, if we weren't social distancing, I think I'd be outside in the rain with you.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want you to be in the rain. We keep you in there where it's nice and warm and dry. Really warm actually, considering it's about 20-degree difference inside the greenhouse to outside the greenhouse. So you're nice and warm in there today. And I get the opportunity to walk around and show everybody my garden. So it's a win-win.
Now, I understand in this garden in Brooklyn, you guys take donations so people can actually bring things to help you grow in the garden, like soil, like plants, like anything that they can grow. And even Thayer is giving you a suggestion about cleaning up the soil with a little hemp. But I'd be careful about that till you speak to Mayor de Blasio and see if that's okay to grow in the garden.
Well,
How can people reach out to you to make sure if they want to drop some things off to you, they can actually get it directly to you here in the garden?
yes, we are definitely accepting any kind of garden-related donations. You can drop them off directly at the garden. We're located at 2539 Picken Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. Um, and yeah, we anything garden related, pretty much. No, we're not turning away anything. We accept all help that's available. We also you can put in hours, you can volunteer, and actually physically help out in the garden if that's what you like to do. We have quite a few people who come in regularly, and they just want to get their hands in the soil. So we appreciate all help and donations, definitely.
Wow, thank you so much. You know, I just want to let everybody know that we'll be doing another program. It's still going to continue with all these four wonderful guests, from Lee to Lola to Rita to Thayer, and we have Deidre and Antoine coming up also. You can go to our YouTube channel or Speak to Life Now on YouTube, and you can actually watch a lot of this, and you can see the interview we did with Deidre and Antoine, because they're in the green room checking us out, because they're going to hop on after we finish the show in the afterlife after Speak to Life with Dr. Dré and Analyn. And Analyn, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you have any questions from one garden to another?
Yes, I do. And this could be for either Lee or Lola. And this is a question we get, I've actually received from a few people about starting a garden and what would be the biggest tip? Because some people are really excited and maybe starting gardening for the first time, and they go out and it just doesn't turn out the way they expected. And so they're wondering if maybe they're watering too much or too little. What's the best advice you could give to someone just starting out?
Well, I'll let Anna start since she has the most experience in the matter. I'm a newbie over here, so definitely want to hear what she has to say.
Well, something that I would say definitely, Analyn, is that after 40 plus years of gardening, I know two of the most main important elements in your garden are your soil and your irrigation. So it depends on where you live. You know, of course, here in Phoenix, Arizona, it gets considerably hot. So you definitely want to crank up that irrigation during the summertime and maybe water early in the morning for a little while, and then again later in the evening, just to help those plants along because they really suffer through that heat. And your soil really needs to have microorganisms in them, live microorganisms, worm castings, you know, a lot of different things to amend and help the soil. Out here, it's very different from if you live back east. You know, typically out here, I always joke about, you know, you have to, you know, do a rain dance, you have to sprinkle unicorn dust over the soil, just about everything and anything you can do to help that soil along because it doesn't come naturally. Of course, you know, we live in the desert, but ironically, you can grow all year round here in Phoenix, Arizona, and in the state of Arizona itself. So those are two of the main things that are crucial in order to have a good garden going. And we can definitely help people with that. We can garden coach via Zoom. I actually coach all over the United States. And but those I would think would be the most two crucial things to crank up that garden.
Well, I would
That's
definitely,
really helpful. Thank you so much.
I would
Dre,
definitely
did you have any final questions while we're here in the garden?
agree.
So, Lee, I have another question. And, you know, here
Mhm.
being in Phoenix, Arizona, what we're accustomed to is a lot of rock in the landscape. We got a lot of rock,
Mhm.
you know, decorative
Yes.
rock that's throughout. And I'm seeing here throughout your yard that you have the wood chips. And I had recently heard from somebody
I hear it now.
that that's actually really good for the soil.
Oh my
Are,
gosh,
are you
yeah.
finding that to be the case? Is that why you chose this, which is very uncommon to be used in Phoenix?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you enough about wood chips. So wood chips are amazing. If you go out into the natural habitat, you'll see wood chips and leaf droppings and pine needles. We have a lot of pine trees up north. And wood chips actually help the soil. When you put wood chips in your, I actually have them all along in my urban garden or in my urban farm. And I mulch a lot in the summertime because the heat is so intense, and we do a lot of shading. But the wood chips actually help break the microorganisms down, help feed and nourish the ground. and it keeps your whole area cooler. I'm not a big proponent on rock because rock just heats everything up. We already get high temperatures, lots of UV rays, but wood chips actually cool down your area. So instead of grass, I put in wood chips all over the backyard, all over my front yard. It helps keep things cooler. It helps the microclimate. It helps our environment. And it's just an amazing, amazing component for trees. If you've got trees, it keeps the soil cooler in the summertime and warmer in the wintertime. It's just an amazing natural element that you can put in the garden. And it looks very urban and very natural. It helps keep the dust down. It does so many amazing things.
Oh, that's good.
May I ask Lola a question?
Sure.
Do you, because you're in the city, do you have to be conscientious of doing soil rotation or plant rotation, things like that?
Well, yes, absolutely. One thing that is an issue with gardening in the city, we're not allowed to garden directly out the ground. We have to do a raised garden bed situation with the landscaping and then clean composted soil on top. So um, there is an issue where every year we try to, if we can't reach produce grown from the individual box, and we'll just swap out the soil altogether. You have to keep rotating your soil and rotate the kind of produce that you're growing because certain produce takes nutrients out of the soil and certain produce put nutrients back in the soil. That's what things like soybeans were originally intended for, was to put the nutrients back in the soil. Fortunately, we can just get more soil, purchase more soil, but that is an issue when you're dealing with container and raised gardening. Another thing that's coming in because the land was used for all kinds of other things. They were using it for refuse. We had to actually have the soil tested to make sure it wasn't contaminated for us to even be in here in the first place. So there were a few things related to the soil that we had to and have to keep up with consistently. And for anybody that's um container gardening, you want to rotate your soil frequently at the soil. The plants seem like they eat the soil. If you're gardening in a container as opposed to the ground, you'll notice the volume of your soil will slowly but surely begin to go down. You want to just add more soil and keep fertilizer, compost, um, and anything that you can add to the soil to increase the nutritional value is very useful.
So when you fertilize, are you fertilizing quite often or just
Well,
depending
I
on the
only
plant?
Yeah, it depends on the requirements of the plant, but mostly we try to do it twice a year, the beginning of the season and once towards the middle, because the way the crops grow, you get except unless it's something like cucumbers and tomatoes, which grow consistently, certain crops have sow and harvest periods. So once you harvest one set, you can then resow another set. So that would be the time where you would add fertilizers and um, add things to the soil to increase the nutrients.
Okay, I'm gonna ask one more question. I know I'm probably doing too much. Y'all stop me,
No,
but I'm just
no.
so curious. I went to Brooklyn Tech, so you gotta forgive me. You know how that critical thinking, something else pops off. So Thayer, you said hemp helps the plants. I have a tree in my front yard that is
Yep.
suffering. And I believe it might be the
You ready
beetles,
with the
but
last
when
phone
I
call?
looked it up, it was saying I should use um, fungicide and spray fungicide all over the tree. But my concerns are from Lee's perspective, the organic gardening and all of that. And I don't want to put that in the soil when I know what I did wrong, I think, was in my subdivision, they require that you put that colored mulch around the tree. But when I did my research, I found out that that actually kills trees because they need a certain amount of the root coming up to get the oxygen for it to continue to bloom and thrive. And so what I think happened was those little red chips, the ones that are dyed with that red dye, you guys know what I'm talking about, for decoration purposes. I think it actually hurt the tree instead of enhanced its growth. I mean, it looked good from the streets, but when I went up on the tree, I saw that it's suffering. It doesn't have many leaves or anything like that. Anybody want to jump in? And
Well, too much of anything is never good. Mulch is good in moderation, but you don't want to have more than, say, about 2 inches around it because it definitely holds the moisture in, and that's where it gives rise to mold and mildew to be able to grow in there. We
Yeah,
personally in the garden use neem oil, which is all natural. It comes from a plant. We use all different parts of the plant. You can spray the plants down with a mixture of neem oil and water. And there are many books with different concoctions, surprisingly using dish soap that you can use in your garden to kill um, insects and mold and mildew and other elements that without having to use the chemical. I wouldn't recommend using the chemicals in anything that you're gonna eat or touch or
thank you.
put on your body.
yeah. And
Well,
Rita,
we
let
gotta
me
say,
just
ladies,
clear.
thank you so
th-
much. We're going to see all of you in the afterlife. We'll finish the show and let everybody know they can check that out on Speak to Life Now on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And I mean, this has been an incredibly informative show, interesting show. We got to thank all of our wonderful guests. Lee Stewart from Phoenix, Arizona. We want to thank Lola from Brooklyn, New York. We want to thank Thayer Barkley from Connecticut. And of course, Rita from Georgia. I mean, wow, we got Deidre and we have Antoine coming in from North Carolina in the afterlife. But you know what, Analyn? You have any closing remarks? Because the time went so fast. I don't even know where it went. And I don't
I
even
know.
realize I'm wearing a mask.
But isn't that what this is all about? The show, Speaking Life. I mean, here we are sharing ideas and presenting different options and creating
That's right.
solutions
And
for
creating solutions.
you, your
Your
family,
family,
and the community.
community.
That's what Speak
Absolutely.
to Life is all about. And so we're glad to have our family and community growing, getting all this information out. I can't wait for the afterlife. So this discussion
Well,
is
I want to
definitely
thank
going to
some people
continue.
too for helping us put this show together. We've got Anthony Shelton, one of the producers. We have, of course, I forget
Heath,
that.
we've got
Mr.
we've
Heath Snow is the control room because he's got me in the ear right now talking to me. So I'm like, oh, that's Heath Snow. He's the one who put all this thing together. We have to thank one and only Bernadette Floyd for helping us put the guests together, making sure we get the posts up online. Thank you so much.
yes.
Did a great job. And of course, the wonderful co-host, my Analyn, Scott, and Kenyon out there. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, but I got to send my biggest appreciation to the man turning 21 years old this Monday, and happy birthday to my mother, because that was her birthday present I gave my son to my mother as a birthday present. My son Aramis Brown, thank you so much for coming up and hanging out here with us on Speak to Life, and we're going to see you next time. And don't forget, check us out on Speak to Life Now YouTube channel, and we're going to do more of this conversation. Because, I mean, I'm totally interested. I'm about to go outside in the rain and start digging in Lola's garden. So, Lola, get the shovel ready.
All right, Dre. I
All
Thanks,
right.
gotta
everybody.
go.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you,
gotta help
everybody.
me get
We'll
the rest
see
of
you.
it
We'll see you
right.
on
Thank
the
you.
afterlife. Have a great day.
Hmm.